Next we are going to discuss in spite of the fact that and despite the fact that. I will write two separate sentences, then we will connect them by using in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that. They are similar to, though, although and even though. In spite of the fact that or despite the fact that is similar to, though, although and even though. Just look at this. Government made all the efforts, full stop. It took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. All right. Government made all the efforts, full stop. It took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. Okay, it's from a recent piece of news. How shall we connect these two sentences using government, using in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that? Which sentence is showing contrast? This sentence is showing contrast. So with which sentence you must add in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that? With this one. Okay, now I am adding in spite of the fact that the government, in spite of the fact that the government made all the efforts, comma, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. All right, in spite of the fact that the government made all the efforts, comma, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. This in spite of the fact that can be replaced with despite the fact that, and you get the same answer. Look at this. Despite the fact that the government made all the efforts, comma, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. And I have told you despite the fact that and in spite of the fact that are equal to although, though and even though. So just to put although here, you get the same answer. Although, though and even though. What's the answer now? Even though the government made all the efforts, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. Or you can say although the government made all the efforts, comma, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. Though the government made all the efforts, it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. All right. And what kind of sentence structure is this? Yesterday or last day, I was discussing simple, complex and compound sentences. I told you in a complex sentence, there must be one main clause and there can be one or more subordinate clauses. What kind of sentence is this one? The main clause is it took 17 days to rescue the trapped workers from the tunnel. This is the main clause. And in spite of the fact that the government made all the efforts is incomplete in meaning. So this is the subordinate clause. Similarly, despite the fact that although, though and even though the government made all the efforts, the sentence is, or that clause is subordinate clause. So we have got one subordinate clause and one main clause, and this one is a complex sentence. All right, this sentence is a complex sentence. So if you are making a sentence using although, though and even though and in spite of the fact that and despite the fact that, you are making a complex sentence. Okay, politics is dirty in India, full stop. I love my country, full stop. Politics is dirty in India, full stop. I love my country. Definitely there is a contrast. Politics is dirty in India. I don't hate India, I don't hate my country, but what happens? I love my country. All right. And how can we connect these two sentences using in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that or although, though and even though? Simple. Just write in spite of the fact that politics is dirty in India, I love my country. Look at this. In spite of the fact that politics is dirty in India, comma, I love my country. You can also put despite the fact that, politics is dirty in India, comma, I love my country. You can also put even though, and although. Even though, although politics is dirty in India, comma, I love my country. Definitely this is a complex sentence. Okay, if this is a complex sentence, then this must be a complex sentence because we have applied in spite of the fact that or despite the fact that there. Next we are going to discuss but and however. These two are also used to show contrast, and after these two expressions you must write a clause, all right, with a subject and verb. Now, two examples. I don't like him, full stop. I agree that he is a good manager. Of course, there is a contrast in this. I don't like him, I agree. Look at this, something opposite is said after that. I agree that he is a good manager. How shall we connect these two sentences using but or however? You can't use but or however at the beginning. We are connecting these two. We have only these two sentences, so you should not like, although, though, and even though, or in spite of the fact that, or despite the fact that. You can't put but or however at the beginning of these two sentences to connect them. Okay, if you have only these two sentences, only two sentences to connect, you can put but or however at the beginning. You can put them because they are coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are coming under compound sentence. Okay, they are used to connect two sentences. Now look at this example. Now I'm going to connect these two sentences. I don't like him, okay, comma. There must be a comma before you write but. But I agree that he is a good manager, okay. But and however are coordinating conjunctions or connecting words. On the other hand, in spite of the fact that, comma, despite the fact that, though, although, and even though are subordinating conjunctions. Okay, these two and these three are subordinating conjunctions. So whenever you use these five expressions in a sentence, that sentence becomes a complex sentence. Okay, these two are coordinating conjunctions used to connect two sentences, so they are put in the middle of two sentences. Okay, now the way you must write but is like this. I don't like him, comma, but I agree that he is a good manager. In this sentence, I don't like him is one main clause. Okay, then but is coordinating conjunction. Next one is I agree. The next sentence is I agree that he is a good manager. Okay, in this sentence, that he is a good manager is a subordinate clause. A sentence or a clause that begins with that is a subordinate clause. So that goes with, not with agree, that goes with he is a good manager. So that he is a good manager is one subordinate clause because it's incomplete in meaning because of the use of that with he is a good manager. And the second main clause is I agree. I agree what? That he is a good manager. Okay, so one main clause is I don't like him. The second main clause is I agree, and the only subordinate clause is that he is a good manager. You have got two main clauses, so this is a compound sentence, and these two independent main clauses are connected by a coordinating conjunction called but. So but is connecting, or but and however are connecting two independent main clauses. Alright, then the next example. Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions. Alright, full stop. Next sentence, what is happening is an increase in their emissions. What is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. I have written two sentences here. Governments, one sentence is governments are trying to cut carbon emissions. Full stop. But what's happening is something opposite. It's a contrast. What is happening is an increase. Governments are trying to cut, means reduce. But what is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. So there is a contrast. Then how shall we connect these two sentences using however? We are going to apply however in this sentence. Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions. However can be written in two ways. Alright. One is semicolon, however, comma. Semicolon, however, comma. What is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. Did you get the answer? Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions, semicolon, however, what is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. Look at this. Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions is one main clause. However is a coordinating conjunction because it's connecting two independent main clauses, because the second clause is also a main clause. What is happening is the subject, actually is the subject there, is an increase, is the verb there, an increase in the emission and global warming. This is fully a main clause. So two main clauses are connected by the coordinating conjunction called however. You can also, then the second style of using however is you can put a full stop there. Full stop, however, comma. This is the second way of applying however to connect it to sentences. Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions, full stop, however, comma. What is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. If you are splitting these two sentences, it won't be a complex sentence. It won't be a compound sentence. Why? Because you are splitting. You are putting a full stop after this. So it will be one simple sentence. Governments are trying to cut carbon emissions is one main clause, and that will be one simple sentence. Then however, what is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming is the second main is the second simple sentence. So this is also a simple sentence. This is one simple sentence. This is at another simple sentence, because these two clauses are split. They are not connected because we are putting a full stop there. All right, does that make sense? Okay. And in this sentence also you can put however, but is replaced with however. I don't like him, semicolon, however, full stop, a comma. I agree that he is a good manager. All right. In this sentence, if you want, you can put but, comma, but what is happening is an increase in the emission and global warming. So but and however can be swapped. Do you get me? Do you understand this? It's very simple. So through practice you will be able to learn about the use of in spite of, despite, in spite of the fact that, despite the fact that, but and however. Okay, there is no alternative to practice. If you want to improve your language, you must practice. You can have a notebook and just jot down your points. You can repeatedly listen to my classes and take notes, practice, write your own sentences, read them loud after getting correction from an expert teacher. All right, and if you have any doubts. If you need any more clarification, you can drop them down on the comment box below. I will definitely reply to them. All right. Okay, thank you. And if you find this class useful, you can share my classes, share these videos with your friends. Okay.